measures of variability. For the first topic of measures of variability, we have range, of course. The second one is interquartile range. The third is variance. Fourth is the standard deviation. And of course, the last topic for 3.2 measures of variability is coefficient of variation. Okay? So, to start with, no, we need to start with the definition of range, no. So basic lang naman to, since range is a common term for us, wherein range is a measure of variability defined to be the difference between the largest value minus the smallest value, no. Okay. So, kung mapapansin nyo, di ba nilagyan natin siya ng pang grade 1 kasi pang grade 1 lang naman talaga yung topic na to about the range, you know. Of course, we have here again the sample of the salary of 12 college graduates, no. In first we need to get the highest value, which is of course 4,325, and the smallest value is 3,710. So you just need to get the difference, then which is 615. So that is our range. So ganyan lang siya kadali, no? For the second topic of measures of variability, we have the interquartile range. Okay, sa mga nag-i-inerte, no? Inner quartile range. Charot. A measure of variability that overcomes the dependency on extreme values. This measure of variability is the difference only between the third quartile and the first quartile. In other words, the interquartile range for the middle 50% of the data. Okay. So, this one, the 25 percentile or Q1, and the Q2 and Q3, these are all the solutions doon sa topic natin na doon sa topic natin na quartiles, this one, no? Dito sa part na to. No, so kinapi-paste ko lang siya. So since interquartile range is only getting the difference between the two quartiles, which are the third and the first quartiles, therefore we only need to get the difference. So for Q3 we have 4,025, and for Q1 we have 3,857.50. Therefore our interquartile range is 167.5. For the third topic of this measures of variability is variance. Okay, so variance is defined as a measure of variability based on the squared deviations of the data values about the mean, no. So basically, in order for us to get the variance, we need to get the squared of the total of the data values about the mean, no. So basically, the deviation about the mean, that is only the difference between each observation and the mean. So basically, no, kung iisipin mo, if you have the first observation, i-minus mo lang yon doon sa mismong mean ng dataset, no. So yung deviation about the mean, that is the difference of the two. So lahat ng observations, gagawin mo yung pagkuha ng deviations about the mean. For this topic, variance, so we have two types, the population and the sample variance, no. So please be noted between the difference of the two. Of course, the only difference is yung denominator, wherein the population or the total observations of population, it has no minus 1. Unlike in samples, we need to minus, no, 1 from our total observations, no. So other than that, I believe na there's no difference at all. Okay. So same illustrations with our previous topics. So we have here the 12 salaries of college graduates, 3,710 until 4,325. So like what we have discussed about the variance, that is only the square deviations about the data values about the mean. So we have here the sample mean, which is of course we get 3,940 by applying the Excel formula average, no? So our mean for the given data set is 3,940. So i-copy paste mo lang yan, no? Then also, since we're talking about deviations about the mean, so you need to minus the monthly salary and the mean, no? So for first observations, we have the 230, no deviation about the mean. For second observations, we have 185, so on and so forth. Okay? Since sinabi nga natin na for us to get variance, no, we need to square the data values about the mean. Deviations of the data values about the mean, no? Okay, so with that, no, you only need to square this 230. So the square root of 230 is 52,900. 485. The squared is 34,225. So pag sinabing squared, for those na medyo di familiar, no? So, multiplying by itself lang yan. So, ibig sabihin, yung 52,900, that is the product of 230 multiplied by 230. For 34,225, that is a product of 185 and 185, so on and so forth. No? So, as you can see here, the total deviations above the mean, always zero. No? But for the total of the square deviations about the mean, no, is 301,850. No. So with that, no, by applying the formula, we have here the numerator 301,850, no, and also our denominator is 11. 12 minus 1, that is 11. So by applying mathematical operation, our answer or or our variance for the sample, for our sample is 27,440.91. So ganyan lang naman kadali yung variance, no? By applying the knowledge that we have, that we acquired, no, so we need to apply it using our Excel formula. So we have here var dot s. So si s kasi nga sample, no, pero pag population yan, most probably p ang gagamitin natin. So equal var dot s, then open parenthesis, then you only need is to highlight the monthly salary and close parenthesis. So we have here 27,440.91. So ganyan lang siya kadali. Kung nadadalian kayo sa variance, mas madali yung standard deviations once na meron ka ng variance, no? So, but before we proceed to on how to get the standard deviation, so we must first define it, no? A measure of variability computed by taking the positive square root of the variance. So, medyo interconnected yung variance and standard deviation. Wherein we only need is to get the square root of the variance. Then of course, no, after performing that operation, the answer is already standard deviation. So we have here, no, alam naman natin yan. So for population, standard deviation, since our variance for population symbolize as O squared. So to get the standard deviation of population, we need to square root that O squared, no? But for sample standard deviation, since the symbol of variance, if we are talking about samples, is S squared, so basically if we're going to square, no, that s squared, if we're going to square root that s squared, of course, makukuha natin yung sample standard deviation. So, ganyan lang naman siya kadali. So, since we have already the sample variance using our illustration, so 27,440.91. So, kinapi lang naman natin siya, no? So, pag kinuha mo yung square root nun, of course, the standard deviation of our given illustration is 165.65. Same with the variance, no, if we're going to apply this knowledge to our Excel formula. So we have here standard equals stdev dot s, since samples nga, then highlight mo lang yung dataset, yung original dataset natin. So we have here 165.65. So ganyan lang siya kadali, no? So from range, interquartile range, the variance, standard deviation, no? So magkakadugtong-dugtong siya. So yung topic ng variability, most probably connected siya with the measures of location. And the last topic for the measures of variability is the coefficient of variation. No, is a relative measure of variability. It measures the standard deviation relative to the mean. No. So kung mapapansin nyo, no, sa variance ginamit natin yung mean, no, for tapos after getting the difference between the mean and our observation, no, in-squared natin yon, no. So after natin i-square yun, divide by the number of observation minus 1 if we're talking about samples, no. So that is our variance. From variance, if i-square root mo yung variance natin, ang labas nun is standard deviation. However, kapag yung standard deviation natin, dinivide natin sa ating mean, minultiply natin by 100, no? So, makukuha natin yung coefficient of variation. So, ganun lang naman siya kadali. So, by using our illustration on our previous topics, the 12 salaries of college graduates, no? So, we have na yung standard deviation na 165.65 dito, no? So, divide nyo lang yan doon sa ating mean, which is 3,940, no? So, i-divide lang natin siya. Then, makukuha natin yung 0.04. So, lagyan pa natin ng decimal para marami, no? Para masaya. So, we have here 0.042043 multiplied by 100%. Therefore, our coefficient of variation in percentage is 4.20. So, that's it, our topic related sa measures of variability.